Right, what I'm going to show you how to do now is how to put the Jitterbug together, fit down, securely glue down the batteries as well. So once you've completed all the soldering on the circuit, turn the circuit board over, check all the solder connections are good, check all the components are in the right place, around the right way. You've got heat shrink over the light sensor and over the LED as well. Then if there's any wires, I've got a wire here, we can just trim off there. Just cut that off. And once you've done all that, show it to your teacher and just make sure they've checked it as well. And once you've done that, you should be able to put the batteries in. Once the batteries are in, make sure the batteries go around the right way. It does say on the inside of the battery holder. And then you can turn it on and you can see the Jitterbug working. The light should come on as well. And when you put your hand over the light sensor, it should switch off. So that's working correctly. Now, just before we glue the batteries down, we need to make sure that the motor is turned round towards the switch, but make sure that when the motor turns, it doesn't interfere with the Jitterbug shell that goes over the top. So, we then very carefully take the glue gun. The glue gun is very hot, and be very careful you don't burn yourself. And just put a thin strip of glue along the battery holder. Like so. Put it back in the stand and turn it over. Very careful. Make sure the batteries are glued down here. Make sure the batteries don't stick over the edge because the Jitterbug shell won't be able to go on. And push it down and hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds and it should pretty much set. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use some wet and dry paper. And if you haven't done this already, you can feel there's a little lip on the edge if you use your nail of the white disc. Get some wet and dry paper and just sand the edge just to make sure you get rid of all the sharp corners, so when you put the Jitterbug shell on you don't split the plastic. So you do that all the way around. Put some more water on it if you want to. Even do it before you put the battery on if you want to. It doesn't really matter. But make sure it's all nice and smooth and you've got rid of that lip on the edge. And once you've done that, take your Jitterbug shell. Make sure the circuit board is placed like that. You have your light sensor and your LED can come out of the top hole which you've drilled. Like that. And make sure the motor is facing away from the circuit board. Make sure there's no wires to get tangled in with the motor, and then just push the light sensor and the LED through like that. And check there's no wires in the way. The circuit board's, it's quite difficult to show, but make sure the circuit board's down like that. And it's a case of putting it on very carefully. And the white disc should clip into the edge of the shell there. Go round and do a little bit at a time, and if it's not going on properly, it might need a little bit more sanding. We don't want to damage the shell, so this is quite fiddly. It worked in the rehearsal. So you can see it's quite tricky. If it goes in a bit too far, you can just have to pull it out until it